Guys, I'm back for another episode of TIS-100, and by the background sounds, you'll have to guess where I am. Maybe I'll mention it at like the end of the video. So I'm supposed to do sequence sorter next. However, this thing is no longer locked. And wait, what? 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 What is that? Okay, TIS-net directory. So I guess TIS-100. What is this? Nexus? What? We have a whole nother page? No way. No way. No way. I was gonna make my own custom one, which was gonna be a I think I already mentioned it, like a collapsed sequence generator or an Ackerman. But like after we do these two, like look, there's like a home. Repair 2 more. So if I repair just 2 of these, I can just keep going on this page. Subsequence extractor, nice. 2 more, 14 more. Repair 18 more. So if I do 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'd only have like 8 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8 on the other page. Before this one's unlocked. So I think I'll have like 8 at the end. By the time there's like 8 left, and I'll have them all unlocked at least. Okay. Wow, so we have to sort using 2 stack nodes. No. Should I do the merge sort? I think the easiest thing to do here actually, since we have stack nodes, that makes the insertion sort a little bit easier or faster because the inserting is done between the nodes, so you don't actually have to shift all the memory down, basically. Like usually when you insert something in a list, you're having to shift everything down. But the thing is, just to go through the list in the first place, we already have to go, we don't have an array, so we're already having to shift everything back and forth no matter what. So inserting is going to be really just as trivial, I would say, as selection sort. In fact, trying to place something at a certain index, for example, or trying to find out what's the next thing to go somewhere, it's going to be really hard because you can't really keep track of where something is because you don't have we don't actually have indices. This is kind of weird because I'm used to, when it comes to sorting lists, I'm used to working with arrays and or maybe linked lists, but I'm not used to using like 2 stacks of memory. I'm not used to that. To actually physically define like where the list is, the elements are. So we're not explicitly using indices, and I probably shouldn't introduce that in. So I think what we can do is we can kind of fill everything into here and then indicate sending a 0 here, boom, send a nil here. Okay, everything's in this stack. After that, it doesn't really matter that it's in this stack or this stack. It doesn't really matter. It seriously just doesn't even matter. Because we just have to sort it. But we do want the lower number first. So, once we get everything in here, what we can do is we can pull out like, could we bubble sort it? We could look for the smallest number in it. So we could basically say something like, first of all, let's just move everything in. So move 0, right, move up, right, and then loop, whoops, jump loop, okay. I should say move up ACC, and then we're gonna jump if equal to 0 to exit, move ACC right, and then exit. So move down, up, I guess. I don't know. So it's just gonna be idle. Oh, I like that. I like how it has a percentage, total percentage idle. So out of all the time that is being run, 97% of the time it's been idle. I guess 'cause that's how long I waited. Come on, go up to 98%. There you go. That's pretty cool though, that they have that, because then it lets you know yeah. So I never use the lasts. Doesn't really make sense yet to use them. I might use them in the future, I'm not sure, but doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to use them right now. Okay, so then this is gonna send a signal down. So move 0 down, and then move up right, move right up, because it's got to, tell this thing. I'll change that to nil. Move left nil. So that means this thing is going to wait till this is done. And then boom, it tries to do something. So now the trick is to get it sorted using these. Not sure how it's going to be done. One thing that I could do is not even worry about the stack memory node too much. Well, okay, I'd still have to use it, but I could just feed everything into this, right? Look for the smallest value and then just feed everything back. Look for the smallest value, feed it in here, feed everything back. Look for the smallest value, feed everything back. Like, the problem with that is that I also have to remove the smallest value. So whatever the smallest value used to be, I have to remove it, which means that my code has to be smart enough to know whether it's looking to remove one or not, because obviously when it goes through the first time, it can't remove anything yet. So I might just have it think that it's a 0 or something like that. The problem, well, yeah. That will make sense, actually. That will work. Trying to think here. Oh, man. I'm not sure. Move down to nil. So how do we do this? So we need to store so the first number, should we just assume that it's like, should we just put in like 10,000 or something? Like, I don't know. Can we assume that each number only appears once? Move 1,000 into ACC. Can I even do that? Yeah, okay. So I guess you can have 999. So I'm kind of cheating there, but it's like a max value because I'm trying to reduce how much logic I have to write because I'm only trying to pass the puzzle. So it's not cheating if I'm passing the puzzle because that's the goal. Yeah. No, this one. We'll do that. This one. We'll keep track of the smallest number. So. Okay. Okay, so this will bring everything to here. Okay, so move 0 left, and then loop down, which means we're moving things down. We should call it move down. Okay. Move up. Move right down. Let's see, move up. So this thing is programmed to move everything down here. When it's done, it takes one thing from here, outputs it, and then it moves everything back up. That's all it does. Doesn't do anything else. Okay, so this thing basically has to do the same thing. Except that it also has to when it moves things back up, it has to essentially when this thing moves things back up, I'm going blank for a second here. It has to send things to the right and then get it back. Well, not necessarily get it back, but it's too much logic, I think. Basically, it has to send things to the right. This thing needs to decide whether it's going to remove the thing or not. If it removes it, it might just put a 0, in which case this thing shouldn't send anything up. It should just remove it. So it's too much logic because when the stack is empty, this thing needs to know so that it can tell this thing, hey, by the way, this thing's empty. the only way to know if it's empty is to check the first element and know that the first element's not 0. Because if you check the second element, third element, whatever is 0, then your list is at least 1 long. So that means that this thing needs even more logic in it. It needs a line of code that basically says, like, okay, do this on the first number, like jump if it's the first number or something. But then it can't do that on the second number. So it almost needs to take a number down and put it back. Just like check it. Just be like, is this one 0? If it's not, put it back. Which it kind of does that here. I could call it check instead of loop, right? Another thing I could do, and this is kind of crazy, but I could make this count how many numbers are in here. I just count how many numbers are in here. And then, instead of this one moving left to nil, it just sends... It just sends the count over. And then something over on this side counts how many numbers are removed. And once it's down to 0, then it basically sends a signal to reset. There's no way to send a signal up here or down here. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's gonna be just full of code. It's gonna be kind of hard to do this. Move left nil, check, move up ACC, jump if equals 0, reset. You know what I could do is just have this one check, and then it could tell this one. But the problem is that I need this one to look for the minimum value. Now here, I want to move ACC back up again, so that then I have a reset, and then I have a loop. Right? Move ACC. Move up ACC again. Okay, so this is just ridiculous because it checks to see if it's not empty. And it just moves things down. This doesn't even move it back up again though. It doesn't even move it back up. Like this one, it moves it back up. Move left ACC. Jump if equal to 0. Right? So the only thing that this has is just two more lines of code. Because it has two labels here, and then it also has a move 0 left. So two more lines of code here, and then 2 lines of code just to put a 0 into there. I guess this one doesn't need to put the 0 into here, so we can remove a line of code for the label and then for the 0, and then we can remove a line of code for having to signal, you know, whatever this was going to signal, but then it's got to do all this other stuff. It's got to check to see if it's empty. So and what's crazy is, if you really think about it, look at these arrows here, and then look at these arrows here, right? Cut the entire graph right here. Okay, this is a stack. This is a stack. So these arrows, you can't really communicate signals. These arrows, you can't really communicate signals. So that means you have to use these two right here to communicate just these two halves. And then you have to use this and this to get these two to communicate at all. So this is actually like ridiculously difficult. Because just sending signals down is going to take most of each of these blocks, and I only will have a little bit extra. So what I could do is try to, instead of having this one send things back up, I could divert it from here all the way up through here. And then that just buys me a little bit of code space in these, but then it uses like half of them. So let's try to do that. Let's try to get it so that this fills up with numbers, and then it sends it down. This fills up with numbers, and then it sends it up, and it just keeps sending back and forth. Let's just try to do that. So I'm going to say move ACC right instead. And then I'm just going to say move left, up. Move down, up. Jump, test. So I'm going to skip that for now. Move down, left. Okay. This is ridiculous. So when this one checks to see if there's a 0, I have to still send it back up and then to the right. And that's just checking if it's the first one 0, and then it has to have another loop just to move them all down. Oh my goodness, the amount of code it takes just to do stupid little things is ridiculous. It restricts you so much. Okay, move left, nil, to ACC, and then jump if equal to 0. Move up. Otherwise, just jump loop. Or down, move, no, I'll just say move down. Test. Because that's kind of what it's doing, I guess. Okay, move right. Down. Oh yeah, I forgot. I wonder if there's a way to comment. Is there a way to comment? Let's check it. What? That's so cool. Okay, so we'll just comment that. Okay, so we fill up 67. 67 comes up here, down, up. Wait. Crud. Move ACC right, move ACC down. Oh, you know, I just realized whatever I was thinking didn't make any sense, because I can't just check to see if the list is empty, because this thing is going to have to move it up and down for each thing, right? So when it moves it back up again, this loop is going to have to keep going until the list is actually empty. Hold on. Move up ACC, yeah. So this still has to see if there's a 0. Again. Come on. This is crazy. Okay, so move 0 left. Oh, man. Guys, I don't know. Because the thing is, there's a difference here between the reset and the restart. The restart is when this thing knows, hey, you know, I'm done moving everything down. Now I need to wait for a signal over here to let me know I can move everything down again. Right? Oh, you know what though? Remember how I said I wasn't gonna probably use, where was it? No, up. Hmm. Okay, first of all, we can save lines of code with this. See, because jump, it needs a label. Right? But JRO saves us a label. That's one thing. There's another thing too. So we can use JRO to save us lines of code. There's another thing. Any and last. Okay. Okay, so any and last, the way that works is, okay, cool. So anywhere I have a jump, see jump loop? So instead I can say minus 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can just say JRO minus 4. I don't need that. And that gives me one line of code here where I can hold on, let's just check. Move up ACC. Move ACC up, move ACC right. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to say move any to nil. So what that's going to do is that no matter whether it's a brand new list from here, or it's this thing is trying to say to this, hey, I'm done moving everything up. Now what this thing can do is it doesn't care. It just says, okay, well, whether left or right is talking to me, I'm going to unblock. Okay, then it's going to move up to ACC. Okay, then it's going to send it back up. It's going to send it right. It's just testing. To see if it's 0. Oh, there's going to be a problem though. Because then it's going to send that first number twice. Okay, if it's 0, we restart. Move up. No, if it's 0, we reset. Which means we send a 0 not to left, but to last. So if this guy said, hey, I sent you something, boom. Or if this guy said, I sent you something, boom. It responds to whoever told it to move things back down. So both of these can tell it to do that, either one. Now, after this has checked the first value, which it's going to send, if it gets like a 5 for the first value, it's going to send 5 right, I suppose. Which might be okay. Because this isn't collecting, this is just looking for the smallest number. So if it sees 5 twice, okay, cool. All it did was see the smallest number twice. So, or not the smallest number twice, or something like that. So that might be okay. We move up to ACC, and then we check if we need to restart, because if that's 0, oh no, that wouldn't be the second number. It will be the next number, because I'm right. No, I don't need to push it back up. So I can just move right and then down. And then I can reset if it's 0, then I move a 0 to last, and then I wait again. So no matter what, when I'm moving down, I'm just resetting. Yep, I don't need a restart. Wow, that cleared up a lot of lines of code. Because I don't need to keep track of what's going on when I use the any. I don't need to keep two different loops to say whether I'm doing this one or this one to differentiate between the left and the right. I can just say, any nil. Okay, so move up to ACC. Move ACC right, move ACC down. So it doesn't matter if I'm sending zeros right or down. These things should check. And besides, look, this one says move up at ACC. And then if it's 0, exit. It's done. It's just like, okay, we're done. $4, $5. I should say -5. Okay, and then we move left to ACC. If that's 0, we exit. What? Wait, what? Oh, crud. The stack is just saying move any to nil. That's not good, that it just pulls it out of the stack. Now it doesn't know. This is impossible. This is impossible. Okay, so when any is used, it'll use anything that's available on any port. That's so bad. Okay. It otherwise behaves identically, specifying a port. You've got to be kidding me. So if I just say move last to nil, let's see what it does. It just skips it. If last is not available, it just skips the instruction. Move any to nil. Boom. It just pulled a freaking 0 out. I don't want that though. I don't want this thing. Okay. I don't want this thing to tell this thing something. Move left. No. I don't get why this one's trying to move. I don't get why the stack memory node is just trying to move it down. Yeah, this is not cool at all. Guys, I think this would have been easier if the stack didn't just try to push a number down. Because then this thing could have just sensed for any from just the left or the right side, but it's not, so. I'm feeling tired. I think I'm going to take a break here and pick this back up later. Right, I am back on, I think, an entirely different day, even. I actually gave up on this for a while just by playing some Stardew and recording that instead. Yeah. Right. So, I was going to sort the sequence and then output it. Now, sorting is usually fun, but when it comes to limited length assembly coding, yeah, it doesn't, it's, yeah. Yeah. This is not easy. It's not that fun either, because it's so much synchronizing going on. It's just ridiculous. I can't even output a single number. So I think the last thing that I noticed was that I can't just respond to right or left. Right? So what's going on is a list is coming in here. No, a list is coming in here and it's notifying this. Hey, by the way, I'm done. Okay. And this part of over here on the right is basically saying it's basically, well, it's basically notifying it, hey, go ahead and move everything down again. So both of them kind of tell it it's okay to move everything down, but the problem is that if I just say, oh, remember who told me or whatever, this stack, for whatever reason, tries to send something down. I don't know why. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. One, two, three, four, five. Not sure why. But that would literally fix everything. That would make everything work out perfectly. If we could have it so that the stupid any would work. See what it says? The first value that will become available on any port. Which means the stack as well, because the stack is available on that port. You can't just say read up, down, unless the stack is allowing you to grab it. So wait a minute. What's a read or write command? Block indefinite. Oh, okay. So that's just saying if it's sending. Node T20. Civilian behavioral analysis, yeah. Darn it, guys who made this game. Why, oh why did you have to make it that way? I'm thinking of another idea. Now, you guys might think I'm silly, but I'm thinking of another idea right now. I just thought of it. So, instead of filling this into this memory node, so instead of this one filling up this one and then kind of notifying, hey, by the way, you can move it down. What if this filled into here? Right? What if this filled all the, like, just straight down into here? And then when this one gets full, no, because this one has to know when it's done. Right? Because even when this one comes in and it says, okay, I'm done, move to the right, this thing might respond and say, okay, we're done. But that doesn't mean that it's time for this to restart another list. Right? See, this starts another list again, but it's not supposed to until we tell it that it can. So really what should happen is when it resets, see, when it moves everything down, what it should do is it just should move everything down, but then it should move something like, it should say something like move right, left, or something. Basically to indicate, just to pass on a message from here. So maybe the right side will say, okay, I'm done, send that message left. 0 if I'm done, 1 if I'm, or 0 if I still have to keep using this sequence, and 1 if I'm completely done with the sequence, so send a new one. That's another option, I guess. I'm not really sure. This is a lot harder than I was hoping it would be. Or at least it's got me stumped. I don't know, man, the way they set this up with the stacks and where they are, if this stack was over here, I'm sure this would probably be a lot easier from the approach that I'm going. I just don't even know how. There's just too much going on. You have to get the new list in, and then you have to, move the list back and forth a whole bunch of times. It just seems kind of ridiculous. And then you can't do the whole bi-directional thing because anything next to a stack doesn't work with the any nodes very well. Because if you listened on an any node anywhere near a stack, as soon as you put one thing on the stack, it's going to pop off. And then you no longer get like the use of the stack, because the whole point of the stack is to like reverse everything. It's supposed to store whatever's first so that it comes back out last. And give you whatever's last first. It's not like a queue. So, like, I don't get that. I don't even understand why. Like, if it was a queue, then it would be like, okay, use the any or whatever, because I'm just going to pass whatever's on the queue out. You know, I don't have to complete filling it up. But instead, they design this game so that the any pulls off this stack. But why? I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't understand. I don't understand how this puzzle is supposed to be done. It just seems so... It seems like there's so many things that just don't add up. And I'm even using these JROs. And I've never used, comments before. This is just ridiculous. This is absolutely... This is the first puzzle that I feel like I'm actually genuinely stumped. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I just don't even know how I'm supposed to approach it. I mean, I had everything coming onto here, right? We get the whole sequence onto here. Then, move it down. Sequence onto there. Move up ACC, move ACC right, move ACC down. So we get a 15. We get a 15, right? But now it's trying to push the 15 off again. See, it tries to push it. It's just trying to push it. I don't know why. Why does it even have an arrow here saying that it's trying to push the 27 right? Why doesn't it try to push it left? What is this doing that's special that makes it, want to push it right? That doesn't... Is it because it's the last thing that interacted with it? And here we go. Do you see that? What just happened there? 15. It just moved a 0 down. Why did it move a 0 down? Why did it move the 0? What happened? What happened to the 86? $15.27, right? I don't even get what's going on. $15.86. Okay, so move up ACC. Wait, what? Why do I have 2 of these? That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, well, we'll just try doing this. Okay, here we go. So we actually copied all the numbers. Okay, and then another sequence tries to freaking come in. So... Oh my goodness. Okay, so if it's 0, then I'm moving a 0 left. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to move a 0 right, and I think what I need to do... I'm just going to ignore this part for now. What I'm going to try to do is just sort one sequence to begin with. And then we'll try to figure out how to finish it later. Try to get more sequences later. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. I just want to try just sorting one sequence first. Just to see if I can, do it. So so for here, we need to do move down to ACC, move 0 left, move ACC left, and then have a test, move down left. And then if it's equal to 0, so this doesn't even know when it's done. Which is bad because it needs to know when it puts a 0 here, right? Because this one knows to put a 0 here. And then when it moves down, it says move up ACC. It exits this if it's 0. Same with this one. Move up ACC. And then move ACC left. And this one just passes on the 0. So it's like this one, it almost needs for the exit 2, it needs to pass a 0 to the right. But that's going to fill up the whole thing. Right? So if we move a 0 right here, this gets moved up. This gets moved up. This is going to have a jump if equal to 0. Move down ACC. Done, I guess. I have no idea. Okay, so basically this stuff has the logic of bringing everything from this stack down to this stack, but then when it's done, it needs to bring it back up. And then when it brings it back up, it has to check for the lowest number by saving it somewhere. Move down to ACC. Move 0 left, move ACC left. It needs to know when there's a 0. So when it gets a number, it searches for the smallest one. So I could say save or something. And then when it tests it, it could no, I shouldn't yeah, I guess I could save it. Then I guess it just needs to subtract it. Okay, so it moves down to ACC. This one should probably move everything twice. Maybe? Because this has to keep track of the smallest one. And then it needs to get rid of it somehow. Oh my goodness, is this even possible? How can these filter things between these two nodes? You know what I'm thinking, since this is the output? What I'm thinking is I need to move things up here, right, and then up here. And then basically just check when there's 0, and then when it passes through, instead of this thing trying to pass something here and up, it's just this thing is just going to pass something here. And it's just going to wait for it to return it. And this thing is going to figure out, you know, whether it's the smallest one or not, and then pass it as 0 when it's done, or something like that. Because this is just ridiculous. This is impossible. I just don't even know how else I would do it. I just don't even know how else I would do it. This is just crazy. I don't even know how this is possible, guys. I don't even know how to do it. This is driving me nuts. Oh, man. Okay. Wow. I don't even know how to do this, guys. We can move up, down. Yeah, this is crazy. Okay, well, basically the only thing I've learned after 2 sessions of trying to work on this puzzle is that I have no idea how I'm really gonna do it. So that's part 2. I guess there might be a part 3, 4, 5, 6, who knows. But I'm gonna stop it for now and try to figure it out later. See ya.